Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
We ask our YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet, get an isolation with the linebacker. You tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here. Try to run this play in the alley.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us 865-658-5824. Joined alongside Jacob on the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin. We got Tim live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we got Emilio down there somewhere in an undisclosed Tennessee. So how we doing tonight, gentlemen?
Doing good, man.
I'm doing good.
All right, there you go. All right.
I'm tired. I'm a little tired.
Yeah, right. Emilio, I know what you went through today. It's all good, big dog. Let's do it. Let's do this. Let's get this party started right and give a quick shout out to our sponsors over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packers Total Access Live, Wisconsin-based since 1992, specializing in Packers tickets, Wisconsin's largest ticket source. And they've got offices next to Lambeau Field, also in Milwaukee. You can click on the link in this video description, and I'll send you to theticketking.com. That's theticketking.com, where you can register for free as a customer and get yourself set up for that May schedule release when the Packers schedule does drop, and go ahead and get yourself in a position to save some money on Packers tickets this coming season. They're going to be the ones to do it for you guys and gals. Ticket King, right across the street from Lambeau Field. Make sure you check them out and support those who support us. We appreciate them sponsoring the show. Now, with that being said, I know the chat is already on fire there. United Bates in the house. Yeah, we're going to talk about that for sure. I got to get right to AFAM here, which Dennis Shook does say, smash that like button for us, guys. We'd really appreciate it. You'd be surprised how much it helps. I hate asking, but it really, really does help. When we got a lot of likes on the video, the views go crazy, the subs go up. People actually go, these knuckleheads are still talking Packers. I don't want to talk about tennis. I want to hear about Packers. Yeah, so there you go. That's how they find us. But AFAM in the chat says, Boz is getting so amped up for the season, he's watching Donald Driver's celebrity softball game highlights. All right. So he's chimed in. Boz comes back and said he saw Jacob in the gym this morning.
No way.
He's wearing his signature, quote, "I break for chicks" shirt.
It's true.
AFAM comes back and says Jacob probably has an Only Beards account. Bro, they're on fire. AFAM says Paul's probably finishing up his mint lavender espresso from Starbucks right now. And they're going to take home a 4-pack of cake pops too. So there you go. All right. And again, Dennis Shook bringing the full circle. Said, guys, stop with the nonsense. Hit the like button for us. All right. So
Get us back on track.
Yeah, exactly. So, United Bates said, what are your thoughts on Nuben's RAS? The talk on X seems they may not be a fit for Green Bay. We were going to hit on it a little later. Let me see how far down it is. Y'all just want to crank up with that real quick? Is that cool?
Yes, might as well.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Since
People are talking about it.
Dude, what'd you say?
People are talking about it, just like Donald Krieger here. Nuben broke his heart.
Hey, you know what?
Possum
It's
in a dumpster.
It's hilarious that people seen it and they're like, "Oh man, that sucks. It means we can't." I got excited. Listen, I immediately shared the highlight reel. Bro, you don't watch that tape and go, "This guy just isn't as athletic enough." I'm telling you, this means he's going to drop on boards, and it means that Goody may not have to take him at 41 if Goody likes him. Goody may not like him, but him being one of my draft crushes, dude. This stuff, again, there's a reason I don't penalize people on my board for low RASs. I do give people bonuses because it is a good thing. It's a positive thing when their RAS is through the roof. But again, like Michael or like Daniel Jeremiah said on that video that we shared, a couple of weeks ago, right, where he was talking about the ins and outs of scouting. He said the most important thing is the game tape, period, case closed, right? So will he drop? He probably will, right? But and the main reason is because every team in the league knows that they're going to value him a little less. That doesn't mean he's not going to be a good player, right? Paul Robertson says might be able to get him with a third or a fourth round. That's immediately where my head went, Paul. Like right off the bat, I'm like, oh, hold up, we might not have to use 41. You
guys see Marvin Harrison Jr.'s pro day today?
Yeah,
that's right. He didn't work out, did he?
Didn't even compete.
This is exactly why, because it can only hurt you at that point.
Bingo. J. Cole says, going to be honest, I think Goot likes Bullard more than Nuben. I could be wrong. That's the first thing that I said in our little thread there earlier when Jake Shavink posted the RASs. I went, boy, there's somebody doing this right now. That's our man Bullard. He's fired up, because there's a chance he could leapfrog, right?
Well, haven't we even taken Nuben with the first pick? So it's like if he drops into the third round, now we're talking. That's a clearance rack right there. Now Absolutely. We're talking.
Yep. And again, Nuben is not going to. He may drop on my board slightly. It's because other guys are killing the RAS and they may score a little bit higher than him. But he's currently sitting 28th. Bullard's sitting 62nd, and then I've got Cam Kinchins at 82. So hands down, Bullard is the second best safety on my board. And depending on how far he jumps here, that's what's going to determine whether teams want to take him over top of Tyler Nuben or not. But you could tell it was kind of a weak safety class. We talked about that. You had Tyler Nuben at the top of the list, and now he's starting to sink a bit. I'm sure he will. So it makes all the sense in the world that Goody said, you know what, let's just go get the absolute best safety free agent on the market. I mean, that's what we've seen, right, guys?
Yeah. I'm with Jake Shavink here in the comments. Nuben at strong safety should be just fine.
And you got to give credit to Jake Shavink because through this whole process, he's been the one saying he's more of a box safety. And when we were in this conversation in this chat and we pulled up these RASs, and for those of you listening on the pod, Tyler Nuben at free safety, a 2.91 RAS, and at strong safety, a 3.54 RAS. Okay. And then so Jake, I asked Jake, I'm like, hey man, has anybody ever graded out that bad that ended up being a decent safety? So he pulled the scores here, right? Check this out. At strong safety in the 2.5 to 3.75 range, I found Brandon Merriweather and James what is it? Say that, Jacob.
Say again now. James Idabego.
Who? Exactly correct. And he went on to post, these next ones really got me fired up, especially the first one. Cam Chancellor, 3.43 was his
Now there's the guy.
I challenge anyone who goes, who's Cam Chancellor? Go pull some tape tonight. And you would be like, oh, that's Cam Chancellor. And by the way, Jeff Hafley, right, coached in San Francisco under Robert Saleh, right? Robert Saleh came over from the Seattle Seahawks, where he was an assistant coach with the Legion of Boom. Cam Chancellor was the enforcer in the middle of that defense for the Legion of Boom. You had Earl Thomas patrolling deep. Yep. Think Xavier McKinney. And you had Cam Chancellor rotating into the box, playing that box safety, spinning down, playing robber, all those terms that you talk about, robbery.
Lowering the boom.
I'm telling you, dude. If you go right now and watch Tyler Nuben, watch his highlight reel, you see a little bit of that Cam Chancellor. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Cam Chancellor, but his game is definitely closer to Cam Chancellor than Earl Thomas. There's no two ways about that. So, Paul Robertson, here you go. Cam Chancellor was drafted in the 5th round, by the way.
That's right.
Emilio, Jacob, could you imagine getting Tyler Nuben, the best safety in the draft, in the 5th or 6th round, dude? I don't think
that's like walking into Ross and finding that Milwaukee tool. You know what I'm saying? It's like a hidden gem. You go there every day for it, and the one time it's there, man.
There it is. So, hey, what do you think, Jay? How do you feel about Tyler Nuben? Are you an RAS freak going up, take him off the board, or how are you feeling about it?
I think this sums up how I think. Boom goes the dynamite. Realistically, I do think that it will affect whether or not he's taken in those 1st or 2nd rounds, specifically by Green Bay. When you look back at Goody's track record, he just does not seem to budge below like a really high RAS for at least the 1st round into the 2nd round and I think even into the third rounds. And then he seems to kind of tailor off a little bit. But I could see us definitely taking him if we could get him in the third or the fourth, if we could get him with Tim's coveted 91st pick, imagine that.
Right. Now, here's the 2023 RASs right here, okay? Second round, he went with Jaden Reed with a 6.7 RAS, right? Yeah. And that kind of broke the mold of what we talked about within the first 3 rounds. He never took anyone less than an 8 RAS. That kind of went out of, a little bit out of the norm, and we've seen how that worked out, right?
How'd that work out for us?
Exactly. Now, if you go all the way down to Carl Brooks, who I think he's got a chance to be the anchor for this defense, the interior, if indeed Kenny Clark moves on next year. If we don't re-sign him for some reason, my eyes are going to be very, very, very closely on Carl Brooks this year. But we found him in the 6th round with a 5.8 RAS. So Goody will take him, but you'll notice about Jaden Reed, you had to go back 2 years. The tape was phenomenal. The previous year, the year he came out in the draft, not so much, right? And then Carl Brooks, if I remember correctly, he was one of the highest graded players according to PFF. Is that how you remember that, Jacob? Carl Brooks, defensive end out of Bowling Green. Am I thinking right?
Yeah, he had a crazy high PFF grade. Yeah.
So, and now you're saying, okay, why does that even matter, Clayton? If you go to PFF and you look at their big board right now, I'm not going to put it on the screen, but I'm just going to go to it real quick, and we're going to look at Tyler Nuben's grades really, really fast here, because I think it is important to kind of put things into complete, full context here. This year, 89.2 was his PFF grade. That was 10th. He was 10th highest amongst 852 safeties that had a grade. So, yeah, there you go. Jake Shavink, 93 grade, 92 pass rush grade, and 22 was Carl Brooks. I mean, that is insane, dude. Insane. And people, there you go, 90.3 run defense grade too, man. And Jacob, we talked about it all training camp, man. It was every single day when you were reading Andy Herman's tweets, right, and his updates. It was all day long during camp. I'm sure you heard it too, Tim. Matt LaFleur constantly screaming, "Great job, Carl. Great job, Carl." That's what they said he kept saying the whole camp. So
that's right.
Yeah, there you go. Elliott Bean, 80% of the Pro Bowlers are in the upper quartile. Is that a real word? Man, I'll tell you, we learn something every day.
You sure about that?
I don't know. We need to go to Webster's on that one. Jacob, is that a real word?
It is, but when I read that, I thought that it meant professional bowlers. I was like, man, that RAS score is good for bowling too.
You had a redneck hosting the show and an absolute burnout over there, giving color commentary. I love it.
Who do you think you are? I am.
This show sucks so bad, dude. This is
things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. He said the upper quartile of RAS, I think, matters in my opinion. So there you go. I mean, it's a good point, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's
so all right. So now does Goody trade up and get his dog at corner for safety?
See, this is what I was thinking though. If we get Nuben, like Jacob is saying, right, 91 or something, I feel really good about going interior offensive line early, even linebacker a little earlier than we thought in that scenario. But like, how do you predict, right?
Right.
Right.
So all I was thinking was if Nuben, I mean, for Nuben to drop though, if we've picked him first before, so that's 25th pick, right? So right. I mean, for him to drop 70 spots because of a 2.29 RAS, I don't know. I would say second round, right? But I'm thinking Goody's got an eye on one prospect that could be a dog up, and he moved up for Ja, right? So if he likes a guy, he's gonna pull up and grab him, 15, 16, 17. So that's the only thing that got me thinking, today kind of about it.
Moved up for Jordan Love too, didn't he?
I sure did. If you guys haven't listened to Ryan's pod, I guess it was yesterday. I thought it was today. I could be wrong.
No, it was today. Was today.
Okay. So it's about our boy DeAndre Campbell, right? And that whole saga there, which was so What a train wreck, dude. Anyway, we won't get into it. I have intentionally avoided it because it's just I've never seen anyone. And you guys know I met Dre. I met him. I'm like, this dude's awesome. He's a nice guy. Bro, he threw like 6 people under the bus, said the only reason he didn't do good before he got to Green Bay is because he was misused. And then Joe Barry's first year here, right? He had his best year, and there's an article where he was quoted as saying, yeah, they finally used me the right way. And then he comes out and tweets that the only reason he had a great year was because he didn't do anything they said. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
The part that got me, and I'll move on, was when he said the only reason the defense turned around last year was because he went to Matt LaFleur and told him exactly what we needed to do, and things got better. And it's like he wasn't on the field when the team turned around, just for the record. He was injured those 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we held Minnesota to 10 points. So it's like that seems a little dishonest, to be honest with you. But anyway.
He went over to Matt LaFleur, and LaFleur was like,
like, dude, go grab me another dart because Matt LaFleur was not having it. All right. He wasn't.
I don't want to get too deep in the weeds. All I want to say is go listen to Ryan's pod because he went tweet after tweet.
Yeah, no, he did. He really did break it down right. I mean, because I had read him 2 or 3 times, and just even listening to him, say it and broken down in the timeline how it was, it 100% helped.
And Ryan has done this numerous times where he's gone into a situation. He even talks about on the pod that he'll go in thinking, I'm thinking this way. And sometimes he comes out after the information, he feels totally different. Didn't seem like that was the case today, but he's one of those guys that you're going to get an honest response, So, yeah, there you go. Prince in the chat says, Nuben Campbell, bad day to be a Gopher.
Before we get off the topic here.
We suck again.
Can I get a double quartile pounder?
Bates had me dying.
United Bates with the comment of the day so far. But anyway, the reason I brought that up with Campbell, and I didn't mean to get too far to weeds there, was I feel like linebacker is a bigger need than safety now. And people are going to claim you said totally the opposite. We've got McKinney now. It doesn't mean we don't need safeties. But McKinney, I was going to read a couple of those. McKinney, you've got your tier 2 position of importance, that post safety. I don't think the box safety is near as important. He's important, but not near as important, right? So on defense, it's for tier 2 positions of importance is that Mike backer, that guy that's going to cheat to the strong side, direct traffic, play sideline to sideline, and then that post safety, okay? So with that being said, there was a couple chats I have marked there that were talking about Nuben having football speed and things like that, right? I think it's important to go and kind of look at that stuff and just put it in perspective. Again, if you watch the tape, you don't watch the tape and go, man, this guy's slow. And everything that Jake was talking about him rotating into the box is just it really is phenomenal. His quick twitch, he plays really, really well with his eyes, and just got a huge frame too. So yeah, Antonio in the chat says Nuben is not going to play at the line of scrimmage to run vertical routes every down. He probably has a good sideline to sideline speed. That's a good point too. It's a good point. So yeah. We'll see. Brock in the chat says Nuben also coming back from knee surgery, also had a little setback as to why he didn't go at the combine, possibly wasn't 100% during his pro day. And again, competitor, right? Went out there and competed anyway. They said he had his knee cleaned out. Some people hear knee clean out and it throws a red flag. To me, it doesn't. Jacob, you've heard about knee clean outs. I mean, it's a common procedure. It's, hey, let's get in there and get this thing in tip-top shape. Let's get any spurs out, any loose cartilage, all that stuff, so someone can be even better. It's not like a partial ACL tear or anything like that, right? So there it is. Magic said Nuben has football speed. That's what I see on tape. And again, don't take my word for it. Go, I challenge you guys, go watch it. Even if it's highlight reels, guys, pull highlight reels. There's some people who go, you can't watch the highlight. You're going to watch the all 22. Tell them to shut up. Tell them to go back on their drunk tirades and pretend like they're the gatekeepers of Packers fandom, all right? You do what the hell you want to do as a fan and tell everybody else to flush it. That's the way it should be. That's just
Yeah, if you can remember, I think it was Christian Watson that had that little bit of like bone spur action in his knee that they had to get taken care of. Which obviously,
cartilage,
yeah, he's had some incidents with injuries, but not with that, stemming from that incident. And you also have guys like Kool-Aid McKinstry today. He ran his 40 with that broken foot, and it still had like a 4.4 or something crazy like that. So
Yeah, I actually got that right here. Here was Kool-Aid's 40. It's nothing, obviously it's not the best footage, but to me, he looks just fine, boys. This is with what was a Jones fracture? Is that right, Jacob?
Yeah, Jones fracture in
yeah,
his foot.
Look at this boy right here.
Mm.
Bro, he's getting it. And yeah, listen, I don't want to sound like a weirdo here, but remember Nate Wiggins, how he looked? This boy right here is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, this guy's packing muscle. Like, that is going to be, I'm telling you, Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to be.
That's an angry run.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be a great corner. There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah, 4.47. J. Cole in the chat. Appreciate you, buddy. 4.47 was the official time there at the pro day. So I think Kool-Aid is checking all the boxes. I text Ryan immediately. I sent it to him, and I went, oh crap. That means he's probably not going to fall to us. He's with a partial Jones fracture, a healing Jones fracture. You still run a 4.47, man. That says a lot. So obviously Goody was down there in Bama today. Somebody had tagged me in a tweet. It was Paul Burkholtz. I hope I'm saying that right. Burkholtz said in person at Bama Pro Day, Goody at Bama. So there was Brian Goody down there. That's right, down there hanging out with them Alabama folks. And so since he was down at Bama's pro day, and listen, he goes through a lot of pro days. We all know that. He was at Wisconsin, right? You've seen the pictures of him with Luke Fickell. I thought, why don't we look at some of the Bama prospects real quick? You guys good with that?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's just kind of see what we've got here. And I'm going to try to – can you guys see this okay?
Yep.
All right, cool. So I tried something different where it wouldn't stretch the screen out. So hopefully it's more squared up for you guys. You can see a little bit better. But starting at number 15, you've got Terrion Arnold, cornerback. Okay, he's only 20 years old. He's about to turn 21. He's 6 foot 196, redshirt sophomore. He's the 15th overall prospect according to PFF's big board. Okay, the second highest ranked Alabama player or prospect is Dallas Turner in the 16 spot. Okay, he's an edge defender. He just turned 21 years old. He's 6'4", 242, and he was a junior this year. Excuse me.
That's a football player name right there, Dallas Turner.
You got that right.
Either that or a NASCAR driver.
He may do both before, so you never know. J.C. Latham coming in the 21 spot. He's a tackle, a junior this year, 21 years old, coming in the 21 spot, 6'6", 335 pounds. So there's a chance he's looking at Latham like, hey, what if he drops, right? I honestly think that the next one is the one that he's really got his eye on because you see his ranking now, 34th, Kool-Aid McKinstry with that injury he has. You've seen him run the 4.47. If he's there at 25, guys, I'm running that card up there. I'm just telling you, man. He's one of those guys that I feel like I would love to take him in the 25 spot. 34th ranked, and then we know he fell because of the injury. 21 years old. 6'1", 195 pounds. His scouting report says McKinstry plays one of the most difficult positions in the game with so much poise and production. He might not be an elite athlete, but he is one of the smartest cornerbacks prospects you'll find. He can play in any defensive scheme and is the type of player you draft in the first round. PFF grades the last 2 years, 82.5, 88.8. So in 2023, he was the 12th highest graded cornerback in the country. Chris Braswell, 37th ranked edge defender, 6'3", 255. 52nd ranked defender was Jermaine Burton, wide receiver, 6 foot 194. Then you
he
had
met with Green Bay today, by the way.
Did he really?
Yeah, Jermaine Burton.
Oh no, Goody's gonna cause a war out here in these Twitter streets if he drafts a wide receiver.
We got to change up our drafts. I'm telling you, we got to start pulling the trigger on what we got to move up, pull the trigger on wide receivers. We got to look at different ways.
Exactly. You got Justin. Say it for me, Jacob. Say it.
I don't know that one, man.
Oh, Margaret Thatcher can't figure this one out, huh? Okay, all right.
For those of you listening on the pod,
Justin, edge defender. All right, 6'5", 292. Man, at 292 is an edge. That's pretty impressive there. I can't see what Jake's saying. I'm going to move my screen here.
He's saying, yes, Goody meeting with wide receivers.
Jake, I swear, I'm about to cause World War III on my Twitter page that night. Jace McClellan, ranked 210. Halfback, he's a senior, 5'11", 212. Then you've got defensive lineman Tim Smith. 272 is his rank, 6'4", 302 pounds. And then you got Will Reichert, 312th ranked, kicker, obviously 6'1", 194. I wonder if he can block, Emilio. You think a kicker?
I almost bet he could. But we were looking at him in Carly's draft. We were talking about taking a kicker.
All right.
Maybe that's what Goody needed to go check out. I'm kidding. Block.
So Jacob, on this list here, man, who do you think Goody, he's got 2 or 3 that he's like, hey, if we find ourselves in a position here to take these guys, who do you think it is he's looking at the most down there in Bama, man?
I think he's taking a peek at Terry Arnold and Kool-Aid for sure. Mm-hmm. If one of the 2 edges falls to him, I think that might be a possibility. Mm-hmm. I don't think Latham's going to fall.
I don't either. Yeah.
Honestly, we're joking about it, but he could be entertaining some sort of kicker in the late rounds. And then obviously Jermaine Burton, if they met with him, they're taking that seriously. I don't know anything about Jermaine Burton. I haven't heard anything about him. He looks pretty steady Eddie.
Oh, dude, I know a lot about it. Let me tell you about him right now. Burton brings a fiery approach to the position. As long as his size doesn't cause him to be pushed around, he has elite quickness to win against press and off coverage at the next level as a flanker or slot. So You're welcome, Jacob.
I also think he's got his eye on Justin.
Got it.
Yeah, he his run defense grade last year 86.4. I mean, as an edge, he's a red shirt. Red shirt senior. So he's 6'5", 292, red shirt senior. Brings valuable size and length to the defensive line. And though he likely won't be a consistent pass rush presence, his strength and size in the run game makes for a high floor player who can be scheme versatile and valuable mid-round asset.
Good stuff, man.
Is Emilio going to try and say his name?
Go ahead, Emilio. Take a crack at it.
Aboigbe.
Okay.
Hey, that's the best one.
Look at Jake right here.
Right on the money.
Aboigbe, you got it.
Let's
Emilio.
Give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause.
Don't give him that.
Bro, I'm telling you, that dude on the right is the weirdest looking cat on the face of the earth. Tim, you got anything else to add to this Alabama prospect list here, Bubba?
No, I just think it's great that Goody was down there and we're sitting here speculating on which one of these guys or 2 of these guys or 3 of these guys he's going to go after in the draft. I love it.
Yeah. Prince asked, what about McClellan, right? And that was a name that got brought up a couple of times at the end of our draft, didn't it, Jacob? You remember that?
Yeah, it did.
Well, all right. You sound really excited about it.
I'm not a fan of his. I don't know. I could see them definitely doing it again, though, because I don't know. Mm-hmm. Goody's going to do at least like 3 or 4 swings where we're just like, what? Why?
Oh, it's going to happen, bro. It's going to happen.
He's not that big of a receiving back, though.
Gotcha.
McClellan.
Right. Well, we'll see his PFF grade 74, 77, 79, 5'11", 212. He's a senior, obviously. They don't know his age. They're trying to run down the birth certificate, I'm assuming, but there you go. All right. So, with that being said, M. Smitty in the chat said, this is why I agree with Clayton on having your draft board developed before testing numbers. I know I'm in the minority with that, me and you are, M. Smitty, but I want to know what do we think about the players as the college season wrapped up? That's what matters the most to me. And again, the other stuff matters. It's got, like Daniel Jeremiah said, it's got its place. But some people, man, they're like, well, we got to wait till the combine before I build my board. Oh, look at this guy. Yeah. He can run in his underwear. Let's put him at the top. I just don't agree with that, man. I really don't. It drives me crazy. But
same thing about moving him down just because he didn't run good in his underwear, right?
Right. Yeah. It's
just the same way.
Yeah. And again, when I seen the RAS, I went, let me go back and watch this again. So I combed through YouTube and tried to find some highlights, some specific games and stuff with Nuben. And I didn't come away going, yeah, man, he's kind of stiff. Not one time. It was like, this dude has eyes in the backfield constantly. Like he can track the ball as good as anyone. Some like Jake was talking about, him playing down in the box from time to time and then fading back and picking off crossers. And he just looks like he kind of reminds you of a young Cam Chancellor, that type of player for sure. So anyway, there you go. Let's see what else we got on the docket here. Good historically, Jacob, you sent this over to me. You want to kind of walk them through this real quick, man? I thought this was really interesting, and make sure you set it up with bourbon bongs down there at the bottom, right?
Yeah. So basically, this is from Miles to Take, I think is how it's pronounced. Not quite sure, but it's in response to bourbon bongs. putting which actually I didn't realize that Bourbon Bongs was replying to Peter Bukowski. Great guy. Great guy.
That explains why I've never seen the whole thing.
Great guy. Anyways, the original tweet says, I think DeJean is a safety in the NFL and investing first after breaking the bank for X, meaning Xavier McKinney, doesn't seem like a thing Goot would do. And then
Miles said, wait,
really?
Miles came back and went to spit on some facts. Do you want me to read through them, Clayton, or do you want to?
Yeah, you go ahead, man. I've got a bad cough here. Go ahead.
So basically, he goes on to list Goot's history of spending plus drafting. In 2019, he signs the Smith brothers and then drafts promptly Rashawn Gary. In 2019, he signs Amos. He then goes on to draft Darnell Savage. 2020, he goes on to pay Rodgers big money, goes on to draft Love. 2021, he's about to pay Alexander. He drafts Stokes. 2022, he pays Campbell. He goes ahead and drafts Mr. Quay Walker. 2022 as well, he goes to pay Clark. He drafts Devontae Wyatt. 2023, he's about to be paying Gary some big money. He went and drafted LVN. So as you can see, there is definitely a pattern that's in place. I would think that this year, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden we draft a quarterback maybe or something along those lines.
Just saying, not saying, just saying. And again, safety, right? You sign
X.
Sure,
but yeah.
Yeah. And, 2019, 2020, 21, 22 twice really, and 23. What it tells you is when Goody identifies a need, and he obviously identifies that safety position as a need, he likes to take multiple swings. He's going to take a swing in free agency. He's going to take a swing early in the draft, right? Now, the board has got to fall right, obviously, for him to do that. But I think this was really cool because if I had read that first tweet from our friends over at Bourbon Bongs, then I would have been like, oh, well, yeah, that's a good point, not knowing, right? And then when you see this laid out by Miles here, Miles Tatik, it's like, oh, okay, never mind. This actually completely flips, 180 degrees. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, man. The draft is going to be so much.
I should finish the tweet here because he summarizes. He says, then after listing off all of those incidents, he says, Goot seems to prefer to have veteran leadership in place before investing his round one pick in a position which typically requires spending on that position. The signings of McKinney and Jacobs are pretty good indicators that Goot plans to invest high draft capital in those positions.
Yeah, there you go. What do you think, Amelia? There's anything to that, man?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely could be. Man, it's wild to just, go back and kind of look at the tracks that, and the crumbs he's kind of laid. But that's also, then you got to take into account the RAS scores, right? Then you got to take into account, his board, what Halfley's looking for, what, Matt's looking for now. So I would, I think it's an option. I don't think he's going to pull the trigger on a running back, really, if that's the question. But I could see him pulling the trigger on a safety or a secondary player early, like a early corner. We still have Joe. There's still a veteran presence there, things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
As you were saying that, I'd pull up J. Cole's comment that said they met with Trey Benson today.
Just kind of like what I was going to say. If we go by this list, right? We just picked up McKinney and we got Jacobs. So our first two picks going to be, safety and running back? Shock all of us.
And again, Trey Benson is hands down my best running back. He slightly leapfrogged Blake Corum. So yeah, he's definitely at the top of my list. I want to hit on this real quick. Paul Robertson says Bourbon Bongs sounds like a stoner in Kentucky. Actually, I think Bourbon Bongs might have been the first sponsor of my Little League baseball team. See that on the back of our jerseys. You guys do that up in Wisconsin, fellas? You got like local businesses?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. Little League T-ball. I remember those years.
Tell you something right now, man.
Jim's Body Shop sponsoring, whatever.
Hey, Tri-State Mining Company and Piggly Wiggly had one of the fiercest rivalries down here, bro. It got heated. Piggly Wiggly versus Tri-State Mining Company, man. We wasn't playing no games. It's like this is like Biggie and Tupac top rivalry. So there you go. All right, let's see what else we got here real quick. Draft picks. Just a quick summary. I know we get kind of lost. I get lost all the time. I'm like, what picks do we actually have? Just to quickly hit on them again. The Packers officially have 11 draft picks, right? They've got the number 25, the number 41, the number 58. So that's 2 second rounders. You got number 88, number 91. That's 2 third rounders. You got 127 in the 4th, 168 in the 5th. You got 204 and 219 in the 6th. So 2 6 rounders. and then 2 in the 7th round at 243 and 255. So I know sometimes it kind of gets lost in the shuffle and we forget how many picks we got. What's crazy is, Ryan did a great job too talking about, what we hit on with, Minnesota Vikings quarterback talk, right? Like, okay, what are they kind of positioning themselves to do? I still crack up at the people that are like, oh, what are you talking about? Just the Vikings. It's like, bro, the more quarterbacks that go off the board, it's better for the Packers. Also, that's a division rival. We're not allowed to talk about the quarterback position at a division rival.
Mm-hmm.
The gatekeepers, I had to delete a tweet. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was pretty hot last night because it's just like, why do you care that someone else cares? Why? You know what I mean? It's just weird, strange. So it's a weird way to fan. But yeah, as far as these picks, we got 11 picks. And did Ryan say Minnesota's only got like 4 outside of those 2 first-round picks, Jacob? Is that right?
I think we were talking about how Chicago only has 4 picks total.
Chicago only has 4 total. Vikings have 1 and a 2, and then 2 4s, 2 5s, a 6 and a 7. I want to, or 2 4s, 2 5s, maybe something like that. But yeah, no, they don't have any like meat in the middle.
Got it. So what they were saying, I think what Ryan was saying, they don't have a second or a third, if I remember.
Right. Yeah. I think that's it. They have the 2. That's it. They have the 2 first, and they have a 4th, 5th. So yeah.
He did a great job breaking down the updated, draft or trade value chart. And he kind of, it looks like they're going to be able to trade up to number 4 as it sits right now. That it doesn't mean it's an exact science. And he done a great job explaining that. Like if New England wants to trade down, they may give it up. You know what I mean? Basically, if you trade those 2 first-round picks, the Vikings could trade up to the number 4 spot. But if you try to get to the 3 spot, all you have to do is throw in like a second or a third rounder next year, and you got it. So if they really like Drake May that much, and the Patriots are looking at their organization going, hey, we're still a little ways away. Let's step back here, gather some picks and try to put ourselves in a little bit better position when we do get our quarterback. That could be the case. It's all going to come down to which team falls in love with each of these prospects, right? But hands down right now, it's really simple. It's Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May right at the top. Any of those guys could go number 1. I think it's pretty common knowledge that Chicago's probably going to take Caleb Williams, although did you guys see RG3 ranting on that?
No.
He was basically telling Caleb Williams, like, don't be ashamed to refuse to go to Chicago. Look how it worked out for Eli. I was rolling. I was going, yes, RG, keep pouring it on, man. Keep going.
Wow.
So,
then what? Then they have to trade out of the first pick?
Yeah. I think what would happen probably is they would just take their second best quarterback, which would probably be Jaden Daniels, I would imagine. You know what I mean? That's kind of what the Chargers and the Giants did. Now, it did have to happen in a trade, like you said, Emilio.
Right.
But it was one of those things where they were like, yeah, we're basically okay. We'll take Phillip Rivers. You take Eli Manning. But, man, why they went ahead and drafted him was just strange, man. It was just weird, knowing that he didn't want to play there. But I don't know how you guys feel about that. But at the time that it happened, I was kind of mad at Eli. Like, man, what a selfish prick, right? Yep. And now looking back, I'm going, man, that was his dad going, you do not want to play for that organization because they do not take championships serious. And he was right. Eli went on to win, 2 Super Bowls with the New York Giants, with the Mara family. And the Chargers still haven't done diddly squat. So there you go. Daniel Jeremiah, we mentioned this, I think the other day, his latest mock 3.0 has the Packers taking a Marius Mims tackle out of Georgia. Again, Jacob, we got roasted for taking offensive lineman with the 25th pick. I would be totally fine with this, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd be super pumped. As we get closer and closer to the draft, any offensive lineman in the first round, I'm going to be fine with, to be honest. There's really not one of them that I would be upset about. I think we need to get, now that I look at it, at least 3 offensive linemen in this draft. And now you could convince me of even 4 or more. So,
yeah. And at the top of the list here in the 24 spot, they've got Daniel Jeremiah's got the Dallas Cowboys taking Jackson Powers Johnson. So, I think it's further confirmation that Jackson Powers Johnson is worthy of a first round pick. I know some people don't believe an interior offensive lineman is, but someone who could play center, someone who could play guard, I think it could be huge for sure.
If you don't think an interior offensive lineman is worth a first round pick, you're not watching the Packers very much. We need depth desperately on that offensive line.
Tim, it's literally the only thing wrong with the offense right now.
Yep.
It's the only thing that's keeping them from going from top 10 to literally top 5, right?
Yep.
Jordan Love was finished the season playing outside of his mind. Great young receiving core. 2 young tight ends have stepped up big time. You know, Rasheed Walker held his own on the left side. Zach Tom was an animal at right tackle. Myers was Myers in the middle. And we know what happened at right guard. It's like, if you shore up the interior right side of that line, knowing that Elton's going to get better and better coming further time off that ACL at left guard, you shore up center and right guard, man, this offense is liable to pop. And something that I believe it was Wildy and Tausch talking about it either yesterday or today. He was talking about that maybe them bringing back Dillon and obviously going to Jacobs, who's a little more of a power runner than Aaron Jones is. They may go to more inside zone as opposed to outside stuff, right?
Yep.
That's going to be exciting there because you can hit home runs from the inside too. You can.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Especially when you're spreading them out on offense, you're throwing the ball well, and then you just pound that inside zone. Oh my goodness. Chunk runs galore.
I can't wait for the fall, man. Football to get back, dude. It's going to be absolutely awesome. See how this team comes together. For sure. All right. So you guys want to, Jacob, you got anything else you want to hit on, man? We pretty much covered everything that you sent me for the most part, right? Other than the kickoff rule and the hip drop rule. Is that right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, real quick before we get off this. So Amarius Mims, so he's 6'7", right? 340,
Mm-hmm.
but he's only had 803 snaps in the past 3 years.
Really? Okay. Is it injury or
all of them at right tackle. So a guy that's, you know, the size is great, right? But he's only played right tackle. He's had about a season of snaps in 3 years, and we have Zach Tom over there. Are we going to have him and make him flip to left tackle and, you know, work on his back step? Are we going to take that chance? I think that's why whoever said Barton earlier, that might be a better option. But I was just checking out his numbers. If Goody's going to pull the trigger on a first round guy, I don't think it's going to be on 800 snaps on the right side.
That's interesting, man, because
that's a good point.
Right here, Daniel Jeremiah, just 8 starts too. Wow, that's impressive. So, yeah, Daniel Jeremiah says in the little mock-up here, he says, the Packers have moved on from injury-riddled left tackle David Bakhtiari. I could still see Green Bay going in several different directions with this pick, but Mims' upside would be very tempting here. So it kind of sounds like he's not too sold on it either, is he, Jake?
Right.
Unless it's Mims to right tackle, Zach Tom to right guard. And
yeah,
that's the adjustment we make. That's the only way I see that.
So you would go Rasheed Walker, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, Zach Tom, Amarius Mims. What you think?
Amarius Mims, if you're going to draft in the first round, right? If you're going to go there, you gotta be willing to throw him into the fire right away.
That's true.
You would think so, yeah. You're definitely not going to take a tackle at 25 to be a swing tackle.
Could you imagine him and Caleb Jones though as your 2 anchors?
Oh my God! Yeah, that'd be absolutely wild, man.
We've talked about it though. We know it's like you were just alluding to, Emilio. Like it's not like, oh, he played left tackle, so he can play on the right side. Yeah, not necessarily. That's kind of an art form there with your
completely different step, completely different kick, leg, everything.
And your footwork is everything, like Mike Wall always talks about. So
yeah,
I think if he plays on the right side, we've had limited looks at him. If they're that serious, then they're drafting him to play right tackle. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Dennis Shook did say, Clayton, if you draft Mims, you could put Zach Tom at center where he is elite. I don't know about Mims. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Zach Tom to center. Yeah, that's another option.
Yeah.
But then we don't improve at right guard.
I think it was Tauser that said it on Wildy and Tausch a few weeks ago, said that it's described and explained to him from people within the organization. It may have been Wildy that said it was one of the two. Said Tom really good right tackle, great right guard, all pro center. The way they look at him within the organization. So that would be just to get the center position shored up. I feel like is kind of the biggest thing right now. It's just now you got this huge hole at right guard. It's going to come into play. So Bart, I agree, Jay. I got to agree, man. Jay Cole says Graham Barton would be my pick over Mims because of the versatility. I mean, that dude can play everywhere. We've talked about it. I completely agree.
Yeah, and look how well – look how well Cincinnati's tackles pair did, right?
Yeah, there you go. So, we'll like I said, we'll keep our ear to the streets here as more information drops. Jacob, you want to jump into this new kickoff rule, man? What do you think?
Well, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I jumped in because I was wanting to say I didn't see who put it up, but wanted to hear what you guys thought about putting Zach Tom at center because it would be really cool to. Yeah, I just wanted to jump in on that because I thought that was pretty cool, and I missed some of it as I was getting my earbuds all connected and all that, and so I thought it was really cool you brought it up. That's all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, now's the time to make these decisions if you're going to, right? Sometimes we've seen it last year on the post-game show, Tim. You get the week 5, week 6, and people are like, you need to move this guy here and that guy. Guys, that ship sailed. Once you break camp, hey, here's the plan, guys. You don't want a whole bunch of moving parts constantly. You want to make sure you're settled in. So, now would be the time to try to make that decision, form that offensive line, and kind of keep some continuity as you head into training camp.
We know how they feel about Josh, though, and Josh is in a contract year.
Bro,
I don't see them moving off of him barring some craziness or, like you said, Clayton, like if he comes out and he's just crapping the bed right away, then maybe they make a move. But if he's your starting center week 1, man, that's going to be the move.
You know what's funny though, Tim? Like I know we're down on Josh Myers quite a bit. When we were coming into the season last year, we were looking at it like, man, we're worried about him snapping the ball to Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
They did get that cleaned up.
That's true. Now we just got to figure out how to block and not end up facing your quarterback on every play.
But I'm sitting here going through, kind of walking back through last year and going, yes, and I'm going, he can snap. That's immediately what I thought. He figured that out. Maybe we can get the blocking down this year. I don't know.
That is basically your first responsibility, right?
That clip is going to live on forever.
Oh,
that clip will absolutely live on forever.
Yeah, definitely. And there was plenty of shots of John Runyon Jr. and Royce Nuben with their backs to the defense too, right?
Oh, yeah. We've talked about it 100 times, I feel like. You can't be looking at Jordan Love throw the ball, right? We cannot have that ever in a game.
Yeah. I mean, Josh Myers he's either at center or he's not on this team. I mean, you're taking a guy like that who, like you just said, Clayton, now he's got the snap down. He can snap the ball. We didn't have a lot of stupid false starts or anything like that. Botched snaps. We had I think one or two. So that's improved. So the last thing you want to do with that guy is go, hey, you want to play right guard? It's like, I just figured out how to snap the football.
That's a fair point, Tim. Because that's the only other thing I was thinking was what if he gets JPJ right to sit behind Josh Myers or learn from Josh Myers, but Josh got a couple years of teaching from Rodgers on those quick snaps. Know the timing. We're gonna no huddle. Let's get out there. Like all those little nuances, they're already taken care of. Josh already knows all that. Jordan's got his own.
John Schmidt hit on it just now. John Schmidt nailed it. Let me get the code. Well, I'll just read it from in here. John Schmidt said, as AR-12 once would say, quote, "Snap the effing ball, John." One of my favorite sound bites of that year, Jacob. Remember Tony Romo going, and what Rodgers is saying is, hey guys, we gotta hurry up.
Could you please snap the ball for me?
We got Coach Monk in the house. King Sports Finest says, I'm also hoping that the Packers look on undrafted free agents is good this year with offensive linemen. Goody, that's the whole Ted Thompson approach. A lot of their visits that they do with these prospects, you'll see them target coming down the stretch. They'll target, potential undrafted free agents because they want to get a jump on those guys, right? And I think of people like, I think Tramon Williams was one, if I remember correctly. I think Sam Shields was one. They've been able to pluck some guys out of those undrafted free agent classes that went on to be pretty good ball players. So, and it's. I love the story that Andrew Brandt talked about him being in Green Bay, and I know I'm going to botch it. I'll just try to give the short version of it. But he said that, it's just this race. As soon as the draft's over, all the executives start calling these players and their agents and saying, "Hey, we want to sign you as an undrafted free agent, right? Here, here's what we're thinking." And he said he called this kid one time, right, when he was in Green Bay, and he said, "Hey, this is so and so from the Green Bay Packers. We'd like to bring you in. We'd like to sign you to a contract, undrafted free agent contract, and what we're thinking is $1,000." And he was talking about a signing bonus, like, "Hey, we'll give you $1,000. You can come play for the Packers, right?" And he said that the kid said, "Hold on just a second," and he kind of set the phone down, and he came back and went, "Yeah, Mr. Brandt, I can get you $500 now, and I can have the other $500 in 2 weeks." And I know y'all are laughing. It's funny. It broke my damn heart. I was like, God love him. Like he didn't have 500. You know what I mean? He didn't have $1,000, and it's still chasing his dream. And we look at most of these athletes like, oh, they got it made anyway. They're fine. They don't need, like they're putting all their eggs in this one basket. Some of them come from bad areas and all that, But I heard that and I busted out laughing. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'll give you $500 to let me play for your team. Like, just wild, man.
Bless your heart. We love it.
Yeah, exactly. So appreciate you, Coach Monk. Let's see here. There's something else in the chat that we had in here. This one's good. Brock says, opinion on Kool-Aid at 25 or trade back a few picks and Kool-Aid there, ? Jacob, would you take Kool-Aid McKinstry at 25 if he's on, or would you rather, do you think you could trade back and feel comfortable maybe getting him later?
I guess I'd have to see who else is on the board, but in theory, I would not have a problem taking Kool-Aid at 25.
Okay. What about you, Tim?
Same. It depends on how the board falls. Not opposed to it. Also not opposed to trading back.
Right. Yeah. Emilio?
For Kool-Aid, yeah, because I want the cutscenes that we need to be able to say, oh, yeah, and all that. Yeah, no, we need to get him on the team.
The
Definitely.
production value.
Yeah.
I completely agree, man. Yeah, I would take him at 25. I'd run the card up there, me personally. I think he's a stud. And if it hadn't been for the Jones fracture, he wouldn't have dropped. We just watched him run a 4.47 40, still healing from a Jones fracture. Yeah, no problem.
Isn't he getting the surgery now? Now that pro day's over, isn't he? Wasn't that what they were saying they were going to?
Sure.
Okay,
that would make sense, wouldn't it, Emilio?
I thought that's maybe what I heard or something, that he was going to run in his pro day, and then right after that he was going to get his surgery so that he was ready for training camp and all that.
They found it at the combine, rest it for the combine, let it heal up, hit the pro day, get the surgery, be ready for camp top.
Yeah,
that makes sense for sure. It's funny we talk about this, like, yeah, Jones fracture, yeah, he'll be ready for camp. I stubbed my toe on the bed and I'm out of commission for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, unbelievable. John in the chat says, don't want a bunch of moving parts, which is why we need more depth. You 100% don't want to move 3 guys because one got hurt. Bingo, man. You got to have that plan in place breaking camp. You got to know that, all right, if this guy goes down, the only thing that changes is this guy comes in rather than, all right, let's move him over here, that guy there. That's when you get in trouble, man. That's definitely when you get in trouble. So let's see. Brandy says, who fits the mold of that hybrid safety linebacker Hafley wants in the draft? Omar
Brown.
I know the person that comes to mind for me is Bullard, hands down. Javon Bullard. He on my board, I've got him as the 62nd best prospect. That's the one that comes to mind for me. But I think this whole hybrid talk, I think it's blown out of proportion. Just like the people that are saying, no, he has to play Sam or he has to play Will. Everybody's already convinced Quay Walker is just going to play Will. He only fits at Will. And I'm going, man, maybe I'm wrong here, but every 4-3 defense that I've studied, the Will and the Sam are very interchangeable. And you want your better pass rusher playing Sam. And that's the whole thing that everybody complained about Quay last year, right? It was like, why aren't we blitzing him more? So Will and Sam need to be interchangeable, and your Mike needs to be able to play sideline to sideline, read and recognize really, really quickly, right? But as far as a hybrid safety type, if you're going to play Okie, if you're going to go to a 3-safety set and you say, okay, who's that guy that you're going to put down there maybe on third downs as your third down backer type guy? I think Javon Bullard, hands down. I know, Jacob, you're not going to disagree with that, are you, Buck?
No, I love Bullard, but as we've done more and more mock drafts, like me and Tim have been doing the last few days, I found that you can get a couple really good hard-hitting safeties that are going to play that box and that slot more predominantly, one being Katana Oladapo, one being Omar Brown from Nebraska, and another guy being Trey Taylor, safety from Air Force. And those are guys you can get in the 6th and 7th rounds. So I'm starting to try to, play chess and figure out what's more important at the beginning of shut up, Eric. What's better? Do y'all remember that he had to end up playing? They ended up trying to make him practice with boxing gloves taped on.
Yeah, so he'd stop grabbing, bro. I remember it. That they drafted him when I became a Packers fan. That was like the first year I was a Packers fan. It was like 03, 02, whatever it was. And they were like, oh, this first round corner. I remember the pictures of him walking out of the tunnel like Xavier McKinney when they signed him, right? Like, oh, this dude's going to be a stud. Holy cow, what a train wreck, man. What an absolute train wreck. Did he play for, was it Auburn? Am I thinking right?
I don't remember.
I think it was an SEC school for sure. I could be wrong, but man, it's like Justin Harrell. Woo! I can't play the video on here, but if you guys go to YouTube, yeah, if you guys go to YouTube and just search Packer fans react Justin Harrell, something like that, them drafting Justin Harrell, bro, that's a banger right there. Those guys in their parents' basement reacting to Justin Harrell pick. Oh my God, it was hilarious. And I remember thinking they have no clue. Justin Harrell's a stud over here at Tennessee, captain. He sucked in the NFL. I could not have been more wrong on that. I wasn't studying the game back then, but it looks like everybody thinks he might have played at Arkansas. He being Jacob's first love there, Ahmad Carroll. So being in the chat says, what % will they play nickel? Do they really need 3 linebackers if they play majority of nickel? Great question. The Jets last year, I want to say they played, it was either 70 or 80% of the time they were in the nickel. And that's the point of like linebacker. When we say, I feel like linebacker's a bigger need now because you need that guy in the middle of the defense. And you got Quay. You're going to be in a nickel 4-2-5 now. So you're going to have 2 inside linebackers there in that nickel set, most likely. So you need another linebacker next to Quay in the middle. And I got to be real, like Quay didn't have a good year last year. Now, everyone's saying it's because of the scheme. We're going to find out, right? And I hope that's the case. I hope he just comes out and plays with his hair on fire. But, yeah, in my opinion, you don't have to have 3 linebackers. When you're in your base, obviously you do. But you still got to fill the room, right? You got to have enough to play that base because you're going to play teams, that are going to try to march 13 personnel, 12 personnel, those things out there. That's becoming more and more popular for sure. So, yeah. Anybody else got anything to add to that? Carly, you got anything to say? You being quiet over there.
Toss him in a dumpster.
No, I'm here. I just was in the chat, so it takes me a bit on my phone to get back to the screen.
Oh, you're good.
No, it's good. I was thinking about the Kool-Aid when you guys were talking about getting him, and I'm with you, Clayton. I would get him at any pick. I mean, it would be great if we could trade back 1 or 2 and, pick up 3 other picks, but maybe it doesn't work that way in the real world. So, yeah, I'd be happy to get him no matter what.
I'm trying not to smile, but it's funny because like the first year that we've actually deep dove here and everybody's come together on our show, you learn everybody's personalities, right? Like Jacob is the late round guy. Like I want to find those late round gems, right? Tim is, hey, all defense. Let's just draft all defense, right? Carly is the trade monster. Let's trade back. Let's end up with 30 picks. I love it. Yeah. So, Amelia, I don't know, man. You just want some blocking, right? That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm with you, Clayton, man. The thought this time last week, even in the last couple of weeks, was still prioritizing safety. And now I feel like, as far as the secondary goes, I think corner is the bigger priority in the secondary now. And that being said, on the defensive side of the ball, still not as much of a priority as adding some depth at linebacker, possibly D-line. I would not be surprised at all if we maybe even took a swing at a D lineman in the first round.
And someone mentioned that earlier. I think about Jerzon Newton, right? I can't remember who it was.
Yep.
Yeah, here it is. I'm sorry. Pete says, can you see the Packers getting defensive tackle Murphy or Newton at 25? I've got Jerzon Newton as the 14th best prospect. He's fell to us several times. I just don't see it happening. A true 3 technique in the NFL is so valuable today. I don't see him making it to 25. But Byron Murphy, I've got in the 19 spot. I would be okay with that at 25 for sure. I'm big on Chris Jenkins too, but Chris Jenkins a little lower down the list. Tavondre Sweat, I got in the 27 spot, but he's kind of that nose tackle, right? He's not that true 3 tech. So, yeah, I'd be totally cool with that, man. And, yeah, thank you for pulling it up. When we're talking about 3 tech, if people that may or may not know, you're going, okay, what the hell is he talking about, a 3 tech? If you look at the numbers at the top of this graphic right here, obviously you got the positions, right? You got, center, your guard, your tackle, and your Y, which is your tight end. On the bottom side, you've got the gaps, right? And that's from the offensive perspective. You got the A gaps in between the center and the guard, the B gaps in between the guard and the tackle, and then the C gaps on the outside shoulder of the tackle, and then your D gap is on the outside shoulder of the Y, which is the tight end. So when we talk about a 3 tech, you'll notice the numbers at the top. This is how they line up. This is how defenses kind of communicate where they're going to line up at. Right. So a zero tech is directly over the center. If you go even numbers, that's directly over each offensive line. So 0 is center. If you line up directly across from either guard, that'd be a 2 tech. Directly across from the center of the tackles would be a 4 tech. So you got odd numbers in between. So a 3 tech will be inside in between the guard and the tackle. Now, keep in mind there's such things called like a 4-eye, which would be on the inside eye, inside shoulder of the tackle. The 3 tech is on the outside shoulder of the guard. Okay, so he's splitting that gap. When we say a 3 tech, it's someone who can really kind of dominate, put pressure on both the guard and the tackle at any point, can change direction and cross the face of the guard going towards the center. You've seen that a lot last year with Chris Jones. You know, when we seen the Packers played Kansas City, Josh Myers kept getting dog walked by Chris Jones. In many cases, he was lining up in the 3 tech, coming all the way across the guard's face and attacking the center, and Myers just couldn't handle it. So when we talk about a true 3 tech, man, it's really important in the NFL. It's what all the execs talk about as far as one of, if not the most important positions on defense. And you can manipulate things too. You know, if you got a team that likes to run a lot of weak side, you put them on the 3 tech on the weak side. They run a lot of strong, put them on the 3 tech on the strong side. You know, that'll be whether you want to play under and over, those type of things. So
Hey Clayton, can you hit the B key on your keyboard to mark this like teaching segment?
Look at that. I didn't even know you could do that. How cool is that? There you go. It's done.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate it. So with that being said, let's wrap this thing up. We didn't get to, I know you guys are disappointed, we didn't get the kickoff rules. Darn it. We could talk about it tomorrow, though. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Am I thinking right?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Got to get all your mowing done tomorrow. Yeah. It's supposed to rain Friday.
I know. Emilio, you my mom over here. Come on, dude. Tell me.
Oh, that's cute. You guys are getting rain down there. That's adorable. We're getting snow.
All right. Well, you know what?
Emilio drinks Bud Light with a straw.
Crazy straw.
Doug hit me with he thought, yeah. Thinks I think a mock draft.
Stop clicking it. Put that up. That's hilarious.
Yeah, seriously. Doug says in the chat, Emilio thinks a mock draft is a non-alcoholic beer.
Tim, were you trying to pull it up the whole time?
I think all of us were.
I pushed it there. All right. Oh yeah, he's got a sixer of mock draft under his race car.
Right. And just to clarify, Chad, I know that there was a battle earlier about if there's Shoney's is still around. There is a Shoney's. There is a Shoney's in town. So they have not gone bankrupt. I just wanted to clear the air.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one that we had in town here down the road in Johnson City, and it closed down last year. And let me tell you, the Facebook comments were intense. They're going, that place is trash anyway. And a couple of them are like, I've been a waitress there for 12 years. And they responded with, well, you suck at your job. It was bad, man. It was so bad. So anyway, Shoney's, rest in peace. Moment of silence for Shoney's here in Johnson City, Tennessee, please.
Paul Robertson, Emilio with the breaking news.
We got to get us a breaking news soundbite. I'm working on it.
Oh, there's breaking news right here. You didn't see?
All those waitresses down there.
I tried this one chili and it set my mouth on fire, and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
All right, I'm out of here. I can't take
rails.
You guys doing Good Morning Lambeau in the morning? Y'all sleeping in and being slackers? What's the plan here?
I don't know. It all depends. Jacob, are you down, or is tonight?
Hi, I'm Date Mike. Nice to meet me.
I think that I'm down to clown. It might have to be a shorter one, but yeah, we can figure it out. I thought we could do a couple different interesting things. We could also talk about that stupid new rule.
And which one? There's a couple of them.
Yeah, I know there is.
Got plenty of them out there. Cool. Well, what I'm going to do, Jacob, if you look here on the brand tab on the right side, I'm going to leave that stuff up, okay? Because I've got the hip drop rule in there. I've got, Keyshawn responding to the new kickoff rule change. That video is going to delete at the bottom of the tab. So if you guys want to go and re-upload it, Pat McAfee tweeted it out on his Twitter account earlier today where they were talking about it, and they got a great explanation of it, but we're definitely over on time. This is good though, man. We had a good time here. appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight for sure. Anybody else got anything before we wrap up?
Just Donald Krieger in the chat there.
Yeah, read that for us, Jake. Do it live, Jacob. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Do it live, Bill O'Reilly.
He can't do that.
F it, we're going live.
Go live.
Do it live, stupid thing. Do it live.
He's as happy as a possum in a dumpster.
There you go. That was a good one.
We'll
cut that. Make sure you hit B on that one too, Carly. All right. So
for those of you listening on the pod,
I can't remember. I lost privileges. Come on now, Clayton.
Oh, that's right. Carly is on probation right now. She did something that none of us know what happened.
No. He was so jealous of my mock draft and how it, won all the loyalty. So
exactly correct.
I'm demoted.
All right, guys, we're getting out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Thanks to everybody in the chat. This was a lot of fun. For those of you on Twitter, hop over to YouTube and subscribe. If you click on my profile there on my Twitter page, you'll see the YouTube link. It's a lot easier interface to communicate with us over there. I'm supposed to say that a couple times during the show, but I suck as a host, so it is what it is. All right. So that being said,
don't forget to plug our special guest, right?
Oh, yes, right. Tomorrow
as well.
Tomorrow we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Paul Brettel, jumping in here. Going to add a little bit of intelligence to this stupid show and set us straight. We're going to talk about needs. So we're going to kind of get a Packers insider look at, hey, Paul, what do you see are the Packers' needs on offense? He'll probably be on about 7:30 Central Time, somewhere around there. He's going to jump in with us, and we'll let the guys ask him some questions. We're going to have everybody in-house with us, so I think it'd be fun to have him on with us. Been too long, and then next week we'll have him back for defense. Sometimes it's good to get a voice outside of this silly little group and go, hey, I guarantee you we're going to come away going, yep, didn't think of that, Paul. Appreciate it. It happens every time. So there you go. I know Paul's a fan favorite. So, with that being said, we're going to get out of here, people. Appreciate y'all.
Wait. You have to take soundbite privileges away from Tim if Paul Brettle's going to be on.
Why?
No, because we don't want half the show to be soundbites.
You sure about that?
Now, we will have a rule that when Paul Brettel is on the show, everyone sit up straight and you're not allowed to use the sound bites, okay?
No, I love it, Tim. I love it. I'm totally kidding.
No, seriously, we can't do that to Paul Brettel. He's liable to just hang. All right?
Yeah, when Paul Brettel gets on, we got to be like,
stop playing with him! Stop playing with him!
All right?
I love how uncomfortable Jordan Love is in that video, bro. He's Gary about to clock me. Anyway,
I don't know who was more uncomfortable in that video, Jordan Love or Aaron Andrews.
Right, exactly. All right, you guys better get up in the morning and do a good morning Lambo. All right, so there you go. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. This was a lot of fun. We will see you tomorrow. We'll be back for PTA Live tomorrow night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Like I said, around the 7:30 Central Time mark, we'll have Paul Brettel on with us. And, you guys, if you would, hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff, share it. We appreciate y'all supporting the stream. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, tell them, Jacob, get us out of here, man.
Let's go out there and be the change we want to see in the world and go, Pack, go.
The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Yes, a YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet. Get an isolation with the linebacker. Tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here. Try to run this play in the alley.